What's up everyone, it's Mike from FlightClub. In this video, we will be finishing up the setup for our Neutron build. On part 1 of the video, we did all the physical building, the soldering, and putting the quad together. Part 2 will be binding up the Crossfire, setting up the BetaFlight settings, and BL Heli settings. Alright, so let's just get started. So before I start plugging in everything, I'm just going to go ahead and unplug the VTX because we'll have the quad sitting on the bench for a little bit, and we don't want the VTX to burn up or anything. We'll just plug it back in when we do the camera settings. So just go ahead and plug that. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is we'll set up the Tyrannus to get it ready for the Crossfire. So I've done this setup in my previous build, the Proton 6S build, so I won't go into super detail on the Tyrannus setup, but I'll have a backup file for the Tyrannus program file on my website, and it'll be included in the kit if you're interested in that. So,
gentlemen, welcome to FlightClub. Engine off.
So before you do the, you try to bind your Micro TX to a Crossfire Nano, you have to do the firmware update on the Micro TX, and I have a video on in my other build that shows you how to do it. I'll put a link in the description below. For this tutorial, I'll just make a brand new model, and then I'll show you just the necessary things you need to do to bind the to use Crossfire on this. So just create a new model, and then we're using this. So just down, and then confirm. Okay, once you have it selected, go page down. You can name it whatever you want. I'll skip the timers and everything because that'll be all set up in the backup file for the kit if you're using it. And then, so what you need to do is go here and turn off the internal RF, and then turn on the external module. Just change it to Crossfire. It's basically telling you to turn off the receiver on the inside and then use this external module. So once you get that, just scroll down to this page and just assign 2 switches you want to use. I'm going to assign auxiliary 1 to this switch, exit, and then auxiliary 2, I will select that, and then I'm going to use this switch, and this will be for turtle mode. Hit enter, exit out, and that's pretty much all you have to do to use Crossfire. Alright, so let's go ahead and bind our Crossfire Nano to the Tyrannus. Alright, so first we have to update our Crossfire Nano with the newest firmware. So to do that, just go ahead and plug in your battery. When you first plug it in, you'll see that the green LED is just flashing like that. Let me just put it like this so you can see. Alright, and then just go here, go press menu, page down, go to your Crossfire script, whoops, enter, and then go to Crossfire, LUA, execute, and then Micro TX. Now you're just going to go bind, and then when it's binding, the LED will turn flashing red, and then just hit enter for update receiver. And then just let it do the update. I guess right now it's downloading the update, and then when it's transferring, you'll see this LED flash quickly. So you see it's starting to move now. Sometimes it takes a little bit. Alright. And hit enter. Okay, just see OK update. Then let's see, I think that's yeah, that's all you do for this screen. Hit exit, and then you should see, or unplug it, or actually, yeah, the RX will now pop up. And hit enter. And then now you just go ahead and change the mode to 12 because we're going to use do the RSSI, and then just change to fail-safe mode. Change it to cut because you want, if you lose signal, you want the motors to just stop. You don't want it to keep flying. And then just scroll down. So channel 1 output, we're just going to select S bus. And then scroll down to the channel map, and then on channel 12 just change this to RSSI link quality. It's telling us you're going to output channel 12, which is actually auxiliary 8 for the RSSI. So now the Crossfire is bound to your Taranis. Alright, so now once we're in the BetaFlight, I'll just go over quickly how I set this thing up. If you don't have BetaFlight, I'll put links in the description below, or just go to my website and I'll show you how to get BetaFlight and all that stuff. Alright, so just go ahead and plug in your USB. And then on BetaFlight, go to Firmware Flasher. We're going to choose Omnibus F4. Boom. And then just go to 3.5.1. Load online. Flash. Alright, so once you get that, you're done. Hit connect. And then I'll just go over quickly on each one of these screens how I have it set. So we have the UART1 set for our receiver, and then for TVS Crossfire, Smart Audio, go for UART6. Hit save. Do this so auto connect. Go configurations, and then just go D-Shot 1200, X quad. We're going to reverse the motor directions. I found that reversing the motor direction really keeps the lens clean. I like to put this at like 3.5. Then we'll go 8K, 8K. We're going to turn all this off because we don't really need it. And then this is very important. Make sure you change this to 180 because we have our board flipped with the caps on the right side. If you don't change this to 180, the quad will flip like crazy when you try to take off. Let's see, all this other stuff is the same. And then just change the receiver to serial. Select S bus. And then go down here. And then just turn on the telemetry LED strip, because this built-in Emacs stack has two little RGB LEDs that we can program later. I'm going to, let's see what else is there. Permanently enable air mode, have the OSD on, and then both of these on. And then this is for the beeper. So when the RX loses signal, it's going to beep, and then we're going to enable this so we can set up a motor beep for this. Save. And then next is PID tuning. So PID tuning, I will, since my setup here is for 6S, I'll show my PIDs for 6S and 4S. So I'll just quickly enter the PIDs I have for my 6S setup. Alright, so these are my PIDs for my 6S setup. And then you can play with these rates to suit whatever you like. I like something around 500, so I'm just going to change this. For racing, I recommend rates a little bit less than 500 because it makes the center sticks a lot easier to control. If it's too high, then for me it feels too twitchy and it makes it hard to control. Hit save. So this is my PIDs for 6S, and then I'll just go to a different profile, and then I'll show you my PIDs for 4S. Alright, so these are my PIDs for 4S in case you decide to run 4S. But since I'm using 6S, I'll go back to my 6S PIDs. Hit save. And then just go to the receivers tab. And then for here, just change the channel map to this one. TAER1234. And then for the RSSI, since on the Crossfire Nano we set it to output RSSI on channel 12, which is actually auxiliary 8. That's where we'll output the RSSI. Hit save. And if you see, if I turn on my transmitter and plug in the battery, you will see all these are working. And so once you have this set, hit save or go to configurations, hit save and reboot, because you need to reboot the settings. And then when you see, go back in, you'll see RSSI is at 100. It's 100 because I got my transmitter right next to the Crossfire. Alright, next go to modes, and then for ARM, I'll just set the ARM's auxiliary 1 in the high position, and then set beeper auxiliary 1 low position, and then turtle mode auxiliary 2 in the high position. Hit save. And then we'll skip the motors tab right now. We'll come back to it because I want to do all the BetaFlight stuff, and then the BO heli. So OSD, you can pretty much configure this to whatever you want. I'll just show RSSI, battery, flight timer 1, and VTX channel. And you just drag these into the positions you want. I turn off this warning, kind of annoying. I have flight timer here. RSSI here. Voltage here. Hit save. And then if you like this standard OSD font, you can leave it, but for me it's a little bit too small, so I just go here and I use the large font. Just hit upload. Alright, and then go to LED strip, and then the flight controller has a little 2 LEDs that you can do. So the way you assign this is you just go wiring, and then you just select 2 LEDs for the positions, and then I'm going to do both of them like that, and then just color, Larson scanner. You can just play with these and set it to however you want. Hit save. And then now that you see, my LEDs are now flashing. And then I'll change arm state. I want green, or this arm to be green, and then my arm, I'll just turn it to red. Save. You could play around with this to get it to show and do whatever you like. Okay, so let's go back to the motors tab. Alright, for here, we're just going to spin up each individual motor to make sure that they're spinning correctly. So just make sure your props are off, hit this, and then just spin them up individually. So right now, they're not going to spin correctly because we haven't changed the motor assignments. But right now, I'll show you how to do this. So you're going to just get a piece of paper and write 1, 2, 3, 4 down, and then when you spin this one up, you spin this, number 1 should be this one, but this one's actually spinning. So you're going to write the number of the motor that's currently assigned to it. So 1 is actually number 4 motor is spinning. Number 2 should be this one spinning, but is actually number 3. So just put a number 3 next to your number 2. And then 3. 3 should be this one, but actually number 2 is spinning. So just put 2. And then 4. 4 is actually this one, but it's spinning on 1. So just put a 1 next to it. So once you have that, just hold on to that, but first, while we're in here, we're just going to check the rotation. So I'm going to just spin these all up at once. So you'll see that this is the way the motor should be spinning. 1 is counterclockwise, 1 and 4 is counterclockwise, 2 and 3 is clockwise. So you're just going to make note of which one's spinning correctly and incorrectly. So 1 is spinning correctly, 4 is spinning correctly, 2 is not, 3. So it looks like all my motors are spinning counterclockwise. So I'll just make a note that I need to reverse motors 2 and 3 in BL Heli later. Alright, so I'm going to stop this, and then so we're just going to go to the CLI, and then we're going to rearrange the channel mapping. So just go here and type resource. Okay, so you'll see this is your current motor resource. So what you're going to do is you're just going to find which motor is currently assigned. See, like motor 4 is assigned to AO2, 3 is AO3, whatever. So you're just gonna write down next to the motor that the current assignments are on. So 4 is AO2, 3 is AO3, 2 is B01, and number 1 is B00. So first you have to clear the current settings. So just go resource motor 1, none. I'm just gonna copy this because we have to clear all of them. Enter. 2, none. 3, none. 4, none. So what we do is we just cleared all of them, and then just going to reassign the motors. So let's see, motor 1 will be you just go across whatever you had written earlier. So this one is going to be A02, and then number 2 would be A03. Save. 3 would be B01, and then 4 is B00. Hit enter and type save. So now our motors should be spinning correctly for the channel. So we'll go back and test them. Alright, so we'll just spin up 1. Number 1 is spinning, 2 is spinning, 3 is spinning correctly, 4 is spinning correctly. Alright, so at this point we're pretty much done with the BetaFlight setup. Next we'll go into BL Heli and then reverse these 2 motors, and then we're pretty much done with the setup. Alright, so now we're in BL Helis. Go ahead and plug in your USB on the quad and plug in the battery, and go up here and select this BetaFlight Clean Flight bootloader, and then go connect, and then hit read setup. Okay, and then we need to change the motor directions for 2 and 3. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do them one at a time. Go here, hit reverse, right setup. Okay, and then go select the third ESC and then reverse, right setup. Boom, and I pretty much leave everything else on stock. So you're pretty much done with the BetaFlight and BL Heli setup. Just go back into BL Heli and confirm that these 2 motors did reverse, because if they don't reverse, your quad will flip like crazy when you try to take off. Alright, so we're pretty much done with the BetaFlight and the BL Heli setup, and I'll just show you everything that we just did. And I did go back in BetaFlight and confirm that these motors were spinning in the correct direction. Alright, so on auxiliary 1, on, and everything is spinning correctly. This is keeper. And then turtle mode, enable, arm. Alright, and then there's one last thing we need to do before we go fly, and that's just set up the OSD. So the screen is black because I got a lens on here. so you can see what I'm actually doing. Oh, so first, it's kind of tricky, I'm doing this blind, I have my goggles on. So go to push. Alright, so I'm gonna just power cycle this so to get the stats off the screen, because it's kind of hard to see with it on. Alright, so just push this middle button, and then for special, just turn this off. Okay, so just one more thing. To set up the camera for night flying, all I do is set the AGC to off. And then you'll see that when you're flying at night, this will make a dramatic difference in the image for dark scenes, because it really makes the gate pop. You'll see, you can play with this and then see the big difference that it makes. Exit, and then just push the up button, and then just turn off all the other OSD. Save. And that's pretty much it. So on the OSD, you'll see in the top right we got your RSSI, bottom left is the channel, and then the power and timer. So to get into the BetaFlight OSD menu, you just go mid throttle, yaw left, pitch up. And then from here, if you want to change your PIDS, just go to profile. You can change your PID profile. Here's your PIDS, back, and then for the VTX channel, go to features, smart audio VTX, and then currently F1, so I'll just change this to whatever you want to do, and then once you have it set, just go set and confirm. So you can just change this to just say race band 2, whatever, and then hit set. And once you confirm, your screen will go black. So that just confirms that it was set. Alright, so that's pretty much the build of the quad, and then let's just see how much this thing weighs. Alright, so I'm just gonna use this little thing so I'm not weighing with the plug on the scale. So with no props or batteries, this quad is 256.5, which is considered very light because these T-motor F40s are like almost 30 grams each. Alright, so let's go to the park, meet up with Ivan, and get some flight footage.